Well, I made my decision on who to support for California governor, and it makes me a little bit queasy, but here we are. This is just about the worst group of candidates you could ask for from a supposedly progressive state, although I would argue otherwise. The one thing that the two Republicans in the race are right about is that working class Californians are barely getting by, and it's corporate Democrats' fault for that. It's the Nancy Pelosi-led corporate Dem leadership that has sold this state out to insurance companies, Silicon Valley, and NIMBYs. In fact, it's largely California and New York Democrats that are responsible for Trump being in office right now, two states that should be leading the progressive charge. And so first and foremost, we need to move on from current leadership, and so Javier Becerra shouldn't even be considered. He's the definition of a corporate Democrat and is basically sold out to everyone. Many of you know my history with Katie Porter, and if not, you can go back and watch those videos, but I can't support her. And of course, I can't support the Republicans and Matt Mahan, who's basically a Republican. Previously, I supported Betty Yee, and she has gone on to endorse Tom Steyer. Initially, this was a no-go for me. Yes, because he's a billionaire, and the fact that you don't have to be a billionaire if you don't want to be. And it's frustrating because I do think if he gave enough money away to not be a billionaire anymore, he'd win this race easy. But he's probably about as close as I could hope for. He's committed to giving away the majority of his wealth before he and his wife pass away. We need to hold him accountable for that, but I'm in. I'm on the Tom Steyer train and sending in my ballot. Now, my former employers, the realtors, definitely won't agree with me and are opposing him heavily. But Tom is very much pro-housing production, so it's not based on their typical positions. This is the part of the realtors that I hated when I was there, and that's the power of their property investors. I think there's two major reasons they're opposing him. First is his support of the 5% billionaire wealth tax that we'll be voting on in November. But there's an exception for real estate in terms of personal property and vacation homes. So it's not that they're worried about, it's the business entities, the commercial portfolios and the luxury developments that will be taxed. So if you hear people say that the rich are moving away because of this, that's ridiculous. That's not what it includes. It's the wealth of the owners of real estate businesses that will take a hit, but they've got plenty of it. The second reason is similar, and it has to do with Prop 13, which is the cap on property taxes at 1% here in California. But Tom doesn't support getting rid of Prop 13 for residential properties. It's what's called the split roll that they're worried about, and that's the tax on commercial properties. They won't touch anything that has to do with Prop 13, but they've got to get over it in this regard. And other business groups are probably opposing Tom for similar reasons, but many of you probably see that as a positive. When you hear people say that billionaires are going to leave because of the billionaire tax, that's just a reframing of trickle-down economics, which doesn't work. Big businesses monopolize industries and localities, and it's harmful because it ends up just gentrifying everything and raising prices. If they leave, small businesses will do better and fill the void. And more small businesses start here than anywhere else. So what I'll say to the billionaires is don't let the door hit you on the way out. Tom Steyer might just finally give us the chance to do big progressive things here in California. First and foremost, CalCare, universal health care. And so, he's got my vote. Let me know what you think. And as usual, please click the link in my bio.